Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone that can hear the sound of my voice, to this week's edition of the Petty and Ill-Informed podcast, where me, by myself, ventures my petty and ill-informed opinion about a variety of topics. It just looks like it's going to be me tonight. Nikki's got a migraine, Tom's at the pub, and Kevin just isn't here. So, got that going on for us. Yay! I see that Cat realised that Nish is a creep. Not yet. Not yet. I've got a feeling you're looking at spoilers for next week, because that's apparently next week's storyline. But it was only a matter of time. Nish is a dickhead. We've said it. We've all said it. Years and years and years. Well, not years and years, but you know what I mean. No one likes Nish. He's a creep. He's gross. He's disgusting. He sucks. Nish sucks. But yeah, he screwed Suki out of everything, which was just mean, really. She's going to get nothing, but she gets Eve. So Suki, finally, after, bloody hell, it's been about 3 years, Suki and Eve are now officially together and out, so to speak. And they went to the pub together and have been flirting with each other, and I'm here for it. I don't like. So a lot of people are saying. A lot of my EastEnders friends are saying it's like, very pro LGBTQ. I don't care about that. I just like they're good for each other. That's all I care about. Honestly, as long as it's not children or animals, I don't care where you put your dick. That's or vagina in this case. That's honestly how I feel about it. Hot take. Oh wait a minute, Nikki says she'll join. 1 second. Good. Oh, no. No, she's not coming. 1 minute, just let me message her real quick. Oh, God, dead air. Brilliant. Brilliant, Richard. So, this is Valheim. It's an open world survival craft game. I don't actually like open world survival craft games that much, but I like Valheim. It's probably the Norse mythology that I like about it, not the. Well, I do like the game itself. It's not ridiculously complicated like a lot of open world survival craft games are. It's a grind. Don't get me wrong. You're going to see here that I'm currently in the Bronze Age, and you know getting the copper and tin to make bronze is a bit of a ball ache. It's always been something I've been fascinated about. I get steel, right? I get how humans figured out steel. The Vikings figured it out, carbon steel, because they put bones in the iron mixture, and they were just nut jobs that put bones in everything. So that's how they figured out steel. And the Japanese figured out steel because they used to wrap their I don't want to say katana because it probably wasn't katana. They used to wrap their swords in charcoal and realised that that was stronger. That's the other way to make steel is coal and iron. And I get that, but Bronze Age, bronze has always fascinated me because copper and tin. It must have happened by accident, like because copper and tin are found near each other usually in mines. That someone accidentally put some tin in with some copper, and they were like, "Oh, that's slightly stronger." But then figuring out the ratio, the right ratio back then. Do you know what I mean? Like the 2-to-1 ratio. Just it's fascinating to me. The steering wheel, Gabby. But how they figured out bronze back then. None of the technology we've got today. It was that, or just like some nut job was just putting random things into like molten copper. I don't know. It's just alloys, especially alloys from back then. It's just extremely interesting to me, like how people figured that out. I don't know. Well, yeah, that's got to be what it was, Gabby. Copper and tin would have just, gone into the same smelter at the same time, accidentally. I I don't pay any attention to the royals whatsoever, SoFlo. Um, I'm not royal inclined. I liked Elizabeth. Elizabeth was a good queen. She was very dignified, stately. The rest of them are just an embarrassment. I'm not even gonna lie. No, that's not fair. Anne is all right, and I want to say the other brother of Charles, is it Andrew or Edward? One of them, not the one that went to Epstein's Island. The other one's all right. Obviously, the one that went to Epstein's Island. Oh, oh, did you see that panorama interview he gave? It was horrific. It's absolutely painful to watch that. And you're sitting there as a British citizen, going, "Oh, this is our royal family. This is our royal family on TV right now, doing a really bad job of defending they went to a sex island. Oh, it's humiliating." Anyway, yeah, EastEnders. What else happened in EastEnders? Oh, Linda snogged Alfie. That was huge. Like, I thought that their entire friendship was going to be purely platonic. Two people trying to get over. Linda was trying to get over Mick. Alfie's trying to get over Kat. And, for those two to end up stogging. Of course, that wasn't the only one. We had Jack and Stacey hooking up again, which, come on, Stace. Come on, Stace. You know better than this. You've been with every other well, I guess she's been with every other Branning, actually, thinking about it. So you see here that I have to mine all the copper, and it's really hard going because you have to. The only place to fix your pick and stuff is at a forge, and right now I've only got enough resources for one forge at base. Thinking about it, it would have made more sense to bring those resources with me and stick them up here. But then I would have had to take them back anyway. I'll do that next time when I get back on. That was really stupid of me. I can't believe I didn't think of that when I was playing. But anyway, yeah, so I've got to mine all this copper. And then when I get 60 copper, I'm going to mine a bunch of tin to make bronze. And this is just, the first real tier, I guess you'd call it, in the game. The first boss is long dead. The first boss is a deer boss. This is like a Metroid type game in which new technology is locked behind bosses. The first boss gives you hard antlers, which gives you the first pickaxe. You have to mine a bunch of copper and tin to make your bronze pickaxes and stuff. You can see up there in my inventory I've got the bronze axe and the bronze pickaxe. And that allows you to mine harder things and cut down different trees for different resources. That allows you to make different things. But you can see it's a grind. It's a total grind. But I like Valheim. I don't know why. I've never understood why. As a rule, I don't like survival games at all. But for some reason, I like Valheim. Never figured it out. I guess it's like exception to every rule. Like Britney Spears, she has done songs that I like. I've never listened to any Justin Bieber songs, so I can't say he's ever done a song I like. What was the other one? Taylor Swift's done lots of songs that I like. I'm actually Swift fan. I'm not a member of the cult, but I'm a fan of Taylor Swift. I like some of the songs. But it's weird that as a rule you don't like K-pop, but eventually there'll be a song that you do enjoy. I guess what I'm trying to get to in my own meandering way is you should try everything at least once to see if you like it or not. Okay. You shouldn't let other people tell you, oh, you won't like this game. Or even if you don't like other things and something new comes out, then you should still try it. Like vegetarian pizzas. I love vegetarian pizzas, but I don't like half the vegetables on a vegetarian pizza. I can't eat sweet corn by itself. I just can't. The texture, the taste, oh, it makes me gag. But I love a vegetarian pizza with a bit of sweet corn on it. Mushrooms, I can't stand mushrooms, but I'll have mushrooms in other foods. Um, it's another weird combination thing, isn't it? I've heard that the Bronze Age is an actual mystery because there isn't enough tin in the known world to have fueled the Bronze Age. Right, but isn't that because they used all the tin during the Bronze Age? Because we've got no way of knowing of how much tin there was back in the Bronze Age. Oh, they found some ancient tin mines with some settlement evidence in Minnesota. Oh, but that was, yeah, America. Yeah, well, didn't the Vikings discover America before Columbus? You know, when I was a kid, everyone was stoked on Columbus. Now everyone hates him. Don't know what happened there. Probably all the indigenous people he massacred. That that sort of, doesn't. Eventually, history remembers that stuff. It might not at the time, but eventually it does. Like I found out recently that there were three sailors stuck in the West Virginia, which was an aircraft carrier at Pearl Harbor. They were in a sealed off area of the bulkhead. They survived in that room for about 3 weeks before they eventually. Oh, thank you, Killing Reality. I stopped doing me cartoons a while ago. Well, I had to. Facebook kept giving me warnings. And that's why I stopped blogging as well. Every time I may try to go back to blogging, Facebook gives me a bunch of warnings, and I got like 3 warnings on Keith and Colin, so I just stopped doing it. It's ridiculous. PC, what was I talking about? So yeah, 3 sailors in the West Virginia, which was an aircraft carrier at Pearl Harbor. Obviously, it was sank, and they survived in this cut-off area in the ship for about 3 weeks before they had food and water, plenty of food and emergency rations of water, but because they didn't have oxygen, and eventually they succumbed to carbon dioxide poisoning, which is just the worst way to die. And at the time, the Navy was well aware, because when they finally raised the West Virginia and they found the bodies, they didn't release the information for 30 or 40 years. This didn't come out. The only reason it came out was because there were people on night watch guarding over the remains of Pearl Harbor that could hear the sailors banging for help, and those bangs would reverberate up through the sea, and they'd be able to hear it, and there was nothing anyone could do to help them, so they just put their hands over their ears, and that's just awful. Imagine if your mate's trapped and there's absolutely nothing you can do to help them, and you can just hear them screaming for help, and just feel so powerless and horrible. But anyway, so people knew that's what really happened because of that, but the army never confirmed, the Navy never confirmed it, because they thought no one needed to know that. But eventually, it comes out because history remembers this stuff, and it'll come out eventually. I went down some wild rabbit holes this week, let me tell you, gents and lady. Uh, there was this dude called Donald Crowhurst, a British sailor, well, not a sailor, he was a businessman who had like a midlife crisis and decided to participate in a Golden Globe race, which is basically a race across the world, circumnavigate from England to, I think it might have been back to England. But he tried building his own boat, and he wasn't very good at it. And the boat started leaking heavily, and he started bailing it. And he realized he could bail it as long as the seas were calm. But seas are notoriously unpredictable, and he was heading into the southern seas, which are even more unpredictable and historically pretty treacherous. So he hatched a fiendish plan which was it was pretty genius, I guess, in a kind of way, because he wasn't much of a sailor, but he was an expert engineer, really good at mathematics, and he figured out a way to fake his logbook, and report where he should have been, but not where he actually was. So he was reporting that he was actually doing the race, but he wasn't. His plan was to go back to the finish line and wait for everyone else to finish and then come in fifth. He wasn't trying to win, and he wasn't trying to win. He was just trying to place. He just wanted to finish it. And he was behind 4 other ships. 2 of them dropped out, and the last one sank. So it was just him. He was going to win. They were going to look at his logbooks. He was doomed. He was absolutely screwed. So he just took his hands off the controls. The ship sort of listed. His body was never found. His ship was found. So it's assumed that he committed suicide. But to be that desperate and to mess up that badly, oh, poor guy. It's just a hell of a rabbit hole. Just plenty of weird rabbit holes going on in the world that you don't know about, and then you find them through random YouTube videos. It's great. I love YouTube. YouTube for me is going to be better than Hollywood or any of that stuff soon, because it's the next. I know it's already well established, but I think eventually they're going to get the numbers, because it's just so interesting. The stuff that's real, obviously. There's a lot of fake stuff. But there's a lot of fake stuff on TV, to be fair. How you... so, I guess that's just part of life. There's fake stuff everywhere. Fake stuff all over the internet. That's for damn sure as mustard. And, but I highly recommend, if you're bored, going through a random trawl through... true stories on YouTube, and you'll find some cool channels, and you'll hear some cool stories and go down some weird rabbit holes, like the Yuba County 5. That was a rabbit hole I went down. Still don't know what happened there. That's the Donner Party. That was a YouTube rabbit hole. What was another one? The Death Valley 49ers, the group of people that came after the Donner Party. That was another YouTube rabbit hole. I find it to be a fascinating, and there's all these people just making videos about stuff they enjoy, not trying to cater to popular opinion, and they'll never get the same sort of fame and notoriety that YouTubers that do cater to popular opinion get. But, they're still doing it and they're still having fun. So, yeah, that's, thank you, SoFlo. It's a great form of entertainment. I think that, we constantly hear about Hollywood doing this, doing that. Oh, who cares? We've got YouTube now. We don't need Hollywood anymore. Let them just go back to raping each other, which is apparently what they do. Yeah, Virginia's named after because Queen Victoria was a virgin. There's a fact that I know. That might be false. Yeah. What about Australia? While we're talking about countries with weird names. Who goes to Australia, has a look at the wildlife, the scenery, the vistas, the the temperature, and thinks South Wales? Who does that? Who goes there and goes, oh, this reminds me of Wales? That's what this place does. I just don't get it. Or Greenland, one of the iciest places on Earth. Yeah, Southland. Yeah, no, I get that, but it's called New South Wales, Gabby. I get the South part, but South Wales, honestly, not that I don't like the Welsh. The Welsh get a lot of respect from me. I swear they only invented their language to piss off the English. And, I'll die on that hill. I've been to Wales many times. It's a very pretty country. But it's not that I've ever been to Australia, but like, again, YouTube videos. I've seen YouTube videos of Australia and it doesn't look like Wales at all. No, people that know me know that I'm heavily into the thylacine, which is Australia's biggest cryptid. I don't believe in the yowie at all. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just gonna die on that hill. I don't believe in the yowie, but and the thylacine, I believe, went extinct. Has gone extinct. I do believe there might be a remnant population in New Guinea. They've got their own name for it. They've got dog senga. I can't imagine why they'd have a name for an animal, and nobody knows about half the animals that do exist in New Guinea. Like, they recently found a population of the singing dog there, which they thought that was extinct. So it's entirely possible that thylacine hung around in New Guinea, but yeah, I don't think it's in Australia or Tasmania anymore. But mainland Australia, I know there's been sighting reportings, and in fact, the most compelling video I've ever seen for a thylacine came from Australia. But the reason they went extinct on mainland Australia in the first place was because of the introduction of dingoes, and they couldn't compete. And dingoes haven't gone away, so I can't, even if they were reintroduced, like some people think they were as part of a wildlife rehabilitation project. Are they still bringing back the thylacine? They're trying to. They've got those pups. The problem is they were preserved in ethanol, and that means all the DNA's dehydrated, so they can't do anything with it, although the technology doesn't exist to do anything with it yet. Of course, another problem is, if we were to clone it, we did no research on thylacines whatsoever. We don't know what their habitat was. We don't know what they ate. We don't know how they hunted. Nothing. So if we do clone it, how are they going to know how to be thylacines? I mean, I guess they'll have to work it out, but still, I guess instinct might play a part. But then, do clones have instinct? Can you clone natural instinct? Is that something that gets lost in the cloning process? And even if we can clone it, does that mean the thylacine's back, or is it just a clone? Does that count? I don't know. It's tragic. It's sad it got wiped out in the first place, if I'm being honest. Within 100 years of finding it, we had completely annihilated it. Which is kind of sad. But that's the animal that got me into cryptozoology, the thylacine. I watched a nature special on it when I was a kid, and it just got me completely hooked. On cryptozoology, from that Loch Ness monster, Bigfoot, the orang pendek, which, I think a case can be made for the orang pendek. Oh, the billy ape. There's another rabbit hole I went down. I had assumed for years that the billy ape was, because everyone says, oh, well, they didn't believe in the billy ape, and that exists. That's a cryptid that was proven to be real. I didn't know that it wasn't like its own thing, that it was just like eastern chimpanzees, and they're not even bigger or different from eastern chimpanzees at all. They're exactly the same animal, just in a different place. And I was like, what? Yeah, the lie detector test. That's another what the fuck moment. I had always assumed that polygraph tests were just unreliable. I didn't know that they were complete bullshit. That they didn't work even remotely. I just assumed they were unreliable, but no, they don't work at all. It's just a load of crap, and police still use it, isn't it? Well, it's a good. Hello. Okay, sorry, my internet just died. Um, I'm back. Don't know what happened there. Oh, did I just? No, I didn't. I thought I just closed the. Okay. All right. I'm back and my mic's still working. Do I think China is cloning people? Uh, I don't know. Probably. It- After the Corona thing, I don't put anything past China. I don't care if that's racist or what, but they released a virus that, well, arguably. Oh God, did we ever get to the bottom of that? The whole COVID thing, because I had COVID over Christmas and it wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, it sucked, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like the worst thing I've ever had in my life. Swine flu was the worst thing I've ever had. I caught that when that was going around and that was awful. Sorry, I keep pausing out of habit to let Tom or Kevin talk, and I just keep forgetting it's just me right now. Well, yeah, whatever. Racist, not racist, I don't know. I just, you're never going to convince me they didn't do it on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, someone somewhere was making money off the pandemic. I don't know who it was or how much they made, but that's, it was just, too much, too many coincidences, and I didn't like it, and I didn't trust it. I didn't trust it then. I don't trust it now. I don't like the narrative that it was like comparable to the Spanish flu when it wasn't. Well, I don't know. Well, that's the worst part. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know what's true, what's fake, because we can't trust the news and we can't trust the government, and we don't know anything. And that's the worst part. That for me was the worst part about the whole pandemic. We just couldn't know. Because there's no one that we can trust, and that's the worst part. We can't trust the government to tell us. We can't trust the press, and that's sad. That's really sad that we're at this point, because it might have been a plague. It might have been a global plague of biblical proportions, and we just wouldn't have known. Well, we would have known eventually when everyone was dying in the streets, obviously, but we wouldn't have been able to trust it. Anyone telling us. Can't trust social media. Can't trust the press. Can't trust the government. It's a really depressing state of affairs. And I got the vaccine for COVID, because I wanted to spend time with my father. He's getting old now, but God knows what they put into my body. You can't develop it. Like, developing a vaccine takes years, and they did it in like 9 months, which was really, really scary. Um, what it wasn't. It was the U.S. British government anyway. Well, I don't think that's true, Gabby. I wouldn't think my government was capable of that level of imagination. Well, Gabby, no. No, Gabby, don't bring that up. No, no, no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a sad state of affairs. Well, I guess that'll have to do for this week. I don't have the steam to go for a full hour by myself. I'm sorry, and yeah, I'm bummed myself out now with that stuff. Uh, we will return next. Well, I will return next week, despite the hopes of many. I think I can keep going actually. Yeah, no, no, no. I've got some more stuff in the tank. So, have you guys been ever wondered? Oh, my mind just went blank. That's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. I had this cool thing I wanted to talk about, and it just plopped out of my brain. That's just the worst. I hate it when that happens. That's annoying. What was I going to talk about? Right. Thylacines, we've covered that. Covered Donald Crowhurst. That was a fun little rabbit hole, though. Like, poor guy. I don't think it was a con man or a hustler. He was faking his recordings and he was planning on finishing the race. Yes, thank you, Gabby. Weed psychosis and your STD test. Everybody give a round of applause for Gabby. She is infection free currently. But yes, apparently a woman, what was it, stabbed. Oh, wait, I've got I'll just look. I've got you sent me the article. I'll just look it up now. Here we go. Going past, going past all here we go. Woman who fatally stabbed a boyfriend gets sentenced to no jail time because she was in a weed psychosis. Now, let us assume that is true. Do we, in the chat, believe that is a good thing? Is that is allowed? That you can just claim cannabis psychosis and stab a bunch of people? I can't, as a rule, smoke weed. It makes me nauseous. But if it's gonna let me get away with murder, I may have to start smoking the old reefer, because definitely got a list. As do we all. 108 times. 108 times this woman stabbed her boyfriend and she got away with it because of weed psychosis. Did you stab him, Gabby? Or is that going to lead? I feel like there's a sex joke coming, but I'm going to ask anyway. Did you stab him at all after getting high with him? Is that a thing? Oh, then she fell over. Okay. Well, I guess that's no, SoFlo. You don't think that's cool? I don't think that's cool either. That happened in Scotland 4 years ago. A garbage truck driver fell asleep at the wheel and drove into a cafe, killed 3 people, injured 6. Got away with it because his lawyer said he was uneducated and stupid and didn't know what he was doing. And I'm not lying. That's literally what his lawyer said, and barrister, and he got away with it. Killed 3 people. Had a note from his doctor saying that he shouldn't operate cars as well. So he got super high, fell over, went to sleep, but he didn't stab anyone. Yeah, Nikki's never stabbed anyone either, and she smokes a lot of weed. No, Gabby did not stab Tony. Okay. Well, I guess that's myth busted then, isn't it? Weed psychosis. I know cannabis psychosis is a real thing. A lot of people will say weed has no negative side effects. It has got negative side effects, and they say you can't get addicted. You can get addicted to anything that releases dopamine in your head: video games, chocolate, TV, exercise. You can get addicted to exercise because it releases dopamine in your head. I guess you could make an argument that you're not really addicted to the weed, you're addicted to the dopamine high. But at the same time, you can't get chemically dependent on weed, I think is the moral there. But you can get addicted. I don't know. It's one of those, isn't it? You can't get addicted to weed per se. You can get addicted if that's what your dopamine receptors are in tune to, which is silly. Just can't even move my arm. I can't move my arm when I sleep on it sometimes. I wake up in the middle of the night and it's completely dead. And it's just like completely floppy. You ever done that? One morning I woke up and I'd slept on my leg and my arm. So I went to step on my leg and it just gave way because it was floppy. And then I was falling to the ground. My hands swung wide and punched myself in the balls. And I face planted in my laundry. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going back to bed now. Fuck this day. Although, if you start like that, the day can only go up. Everything after that can only be a positive experience. So maybe that's how you should start every day. Face plant in dirty laundry after punching yourself in the balls. And then just like, that's it. Everything after this is just going to be gravy. That's how I started my day. Oh, man. But yeah, that was worst time. I used to get sleep paralysis as well. Where you wake up, but you're still asleep, so you can't move. It's like, I think it's actually lucid dreaming. You're aware you're still asleep, but you can't move. And I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I think. But yeah, I don't know the scientific explanation behind sleep paralysis. But that feeling where you're still asleep, but you're awake. You can't move at all, and it's horrible. It used to happen to me, but after I realised what it was, I started going, oh, hang on a minute, I'm still asleep. I'm dreaming. I can do whatever I want in a dream. And then as soon as I figured that out, I stopped getting it, which to me just seems like complete bullshit. 1 minute, when you figure out how to make it work in your favor, it goes away. It's just awful. But I've not gotten sleep paralysis since I came to that realization. Since I had that one lucid dream where I could fly and do whatever I wanted, I have never had sleep paralysis still since then. And I just think that's kind of weird. It must have been like your brain goes, okay, well, we're not doing that anymore. That was too fun. Or maybe sleep paralysis is caused by anxiety and fear, and you realize once you take that out of the equation, because it's a positive experience, it doesn't matter anymore. I don't know. I'm just rambling. I'm just a guy rambling. Just a guy with theories, no scientific backup whatsoever, zero research, venturing my petty and ill-informed opinion about this topic. almost fly. What's almost flying? Where you sort of jump really high. Oh, almost hover. And that just standing on your tiptoes. Have you ever seen those fake pictures of the fake gurus who say they're levitating, and it's quite obvious that they've just jumped cross-legged? You know, by the way they're sitting with their hands on their knees and the face they're pulling. It's so obvious that they've just jumped into the air for that picture to make it look like they're levitating. Do you know what Douglas Adams said the secret to flying is, Gabby? He said that you fly when you fall down but miss the ground. There was like 3 chapters devoted to it in the third, I want to say third or fourth Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy book. Arthur Dent is trapped on a planet by himself, and he falls down one time, and then he sees a bag he lost 7 years ago. So he's focused on that he misses the ground completely. And then he figures out how to train himself how to fly. So, yeah, that's pretty good. There's 5 books. It's the greatest trilogy of 5 ever written. Yeah. Because, like, there's been 2 or 3 movies made, and they only ever do the first book. And it's just really annoying. Because there's 4 other books. Admittedly, the last 2 are not as good as the first 3. The first 3 is, like I said, it's like a trilogy, and the other 2 are sort of tacked on to wrap all up pre-existing storylines. But yeah, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Life, the Universe, and Everything, and So Long, Thanks for All the Fish are, the best books. I always forget the name of the 4th book. No, it's Life, the Universe, and Everything is the 4th book. The Restaurant at the End of the Universe is the 2nd book. And yeah, and the books go into great detail about all the stuff they just gloze over in the film, like the Vogons and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy book itself, the Millie Ways, the Improbability Drive has to be one of my favorite chapters ever in a book, where they explain the infinite improbability drive. I love that. It's topped in the 3rd book, maybe by the Bistro-matic drive, where they figure out, how to power a ship by 5 people arguing over a bill in a restaurant because, everyone's convinced they shouldn't pay a certain amount because they only ordered a soup, and mathematics work differently. That's really clever. But the improbability drive is pretty good. They also say that they tried to power a ship on bad news because bad news travels fast, only it was never welcome when it arrived at its destination. It's really imaginative. I love the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thanks for the goatee. What is your thing with goatee, Gabby? Okay, I've been ignoring it because I know it's going to be a thing, but you've struck my curiosity. What's with the goatee thing? Just wait for her to answer. But yeah, if you're struggling for 5 books to read on a rainy day, I highly recommend the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books. They're just, great series, very imaginative, very weird, quirky, and random. Say what you said before. GH like in enough. Goatee. Yeah. Goatee. Yes. Gauche. Gauche. Enough. Fish. Oh, fuck. See, I knew it was really silly. Yeah, you got me. Well done. Well done, Gabster. I'm going to say goatee, though, because I know it annoys you. Goatee. That's a cool word. You guys get words in your mouth that you really like saying. Googleplex. Confederacy. Goatee. Just random words that feel good. That's like confederacy in like the general term. I'm not in the political term. Okay, I'm not going down that. All right. Just I like the word confederation. Confederation. How about that? That's different. Yeah. Ah, 9 other ways to spell fish. Well, as Gabby is learning in different ways on how to spell fish, I'm going to say that wraps us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. 'Tis good night from me, and it's also good night from me because no one else is here. Good night, everyone.